For BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell with Tony Tsoukalas and Katie Wyndham, and this is Three and Out. We're now less than a week away from SEC Media Days, where all the football coaches and some select players from the SEC are going to be speaking to the media in what is basically honored around the SEC's media as the kickoff of the 2022 football season. Obviously, there's a lot of storylines, which we already covered in a video previously. But one thing that we haven't talked about is who is going to make the most storylines or headlines this week. And that's our question for today. Let's get things started with you, Tony. Who do you believe is going to make the most storyline or headlines this week?
Yeah, it's easy to go with a guy like Brian Kelly or maybe a Lane Kiffin, guys that, you think are going to make a lot of noise and then just have personalities or something like that. Maybe Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. He's a guy that's always fun to follow. But Mike Leach is another one. I'm going to actually take a boring answer and go with Nick Saban. This is always his event. Everybody wants to know what he has to say. There's a lot of change going on in college football. And I think this is going to be a moment where a lot of people want answers from one of the most important voices in college football, in his opinion. So maybe not make some of the funny headlines, and who knows, sometimes, Nick Saban will say something that's a little bit funny, or, he's been known to have his funny moments at these events as well. But as far as like who is going to make the most headlines, it might sound like an easy answer or a boring answer, but I think it's going to be Nick Saban. I think, between this stuff with Jimbo / also a lot of just the questions around college football, expansion, NIL, transfers. I think everyone's going to want to know his opinion, just like always. And I think he's going to have a lot to say.
That's a pretty good answer for someone on the Alabama beat. Let's hope we have a lot of Nick Saban headlines next week. Of things he's going to talk about, which, like you said, I'm sure he will. But I think the guy who's probably going to create his own headlines the most will probably be Lane Kiffin. If you followed his Twitter at all in the offseason, I hope we get some juice content. If y'all know, that's his little yellow lab puppy. Maybe he'll make an appearance at SEC Media Days. That would really spice things up. But, this year you just have Billy Napier and Brian Kelly as the two new coaches in the SEC, and that's always a big topic of discussion. They're both pretty big hires, obviously, with Brian Kelly being the bigger name. And so I'm sure there will be a lot of questions asked of them, trying to figure out where they are in establishing their program. And those are two of the names that I'm really kind of looking forward to hearing from next week in Atlanta.
As great as both those answers were, all it takes is one little dance from Brian Kelly, and all that has been undermined. Hopefully that will be the case. For BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell with Katie Wyndham and Tony Tsoukalas. This has been Bama Central's 3 and Out. Thank you so much for watching.